Good morning, students. So, from today, we will be starting your revision classes, and this is for the upcoming test that you all are going to have, right? Now, I will be covering only the key points so that you get revised with all the chapter as easily as possible, right? You need to remember the details about it as much as possible. I will be discussing in this short span of time. Now the chapter is lengthy, but since it is an easy one, it will be easier for you also to recall that. Now it is mostly based on incidents. In the first chapter, that is Cold War era, is mostly based on incidents. So we will be starting with chapter 1, the Cold War era of world politics, and then we will be continuing with the end of bipolarity till wherever I have told you the syllabus. And third will be your challenges of nation building from Indian politics, right? So let's get started. The Cold War era starts with Cuban Missile Crisis. You know that in 1961 the Cuban Missile Crisis took place because USSR was worried that America would invade the communist ruled Cuba and would overthrow Fidel Castro, the president of Cuba, right? There you see that it is due to this fear that Nikita Khrushchev decided to convert Cuba into a Russian base. And this made him to place the nuclear missiles in Cuba, which worried the United States. And this installation of weapons put US into a close range. And that is why US got worried. US started threatening USSR to remove the missiles, right? And Kennedy ordered the American warships to intercept any Soviet ships heading to Cuba as a way of warning about the seriousness that US had due to this incident. The Cuban Missile Crisis was a high point of Cold War. Now you must remember that. Cold War refers to the tension series of confrontation between the US and USSR. It was an ideological conflict, but it was not just limited till that. Right? You may say that it was not simply a matter of power rivalries, military alliances, balance of power, but it was moreover an ideological conflict. And you may say that it was not just an ideological conflict, it was power rivalry, of military alliances, and of balance of power. Now here you see that there was a Western alliance which was led by US, headed by US, and the alliance was named as North Atlantic Treaty Organization, formed in 1949, which represented the ideology of liberal democracy. Okay, students, somehow by mistake it is democracy, the A is missing, right? Then while Eastern Alliance led the Warsaw Pact, which was formed in 1955, that represented the ideology of communism and socialism, right? Now, what is communism, socialism, democracy, capitalism, US, Warsaw Pact, NATO is all already explained to you. I hope while I'm revising these, it is getting clear in your mind what are these ideologies. Now, the end of Second World War was also the beginning of the Cold War. And the end of Second World War is a landmark in the contemporary world politics. Why? Because it was with this end that US dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Remember the name, student, in 1945. Now there has been various views regarding that. Some say that US did this intentionally to warn the world about its power. Some say that it was unnecessary. Some say that it was because US wanted to show Soviet Union its power. And then you see that in 1945, it was also another important reason why Second World War is a landmark, is because the Allied forces led by US defeated the Axis forces led by Germany. And the war involved all the major powers of the world. It devastated the world as well. Now, since it was so violent, threatening, terrible, it was because of that the Cold War, though it started, but it never ended up into a hot war. It never ended up into a war that involved violence. Rather, it gave a realization about logic of deterrence. Now, what is that logic of deterrence? The logic says that when two rival powers are in possession of nuclear weapons that could inflict death and destruction, which is unacceptable to each other, then a full-fledged war is unlikely. People usually decide, the leaders, the countries, they decide to not go for a war because the loss is so much that it becomes unbearable. The other party, no matter one party wins, still the other party would be still left with enough nuclear weapons to inflict unacceptable destruction. Right? So that is how that is how Second World War becomes important, due to not only its causes and its effects, but what it did when it ended also, what realization, what impact it left on the people, on the countries, on the world. Right? Now you see that since the Cold War was only about US and USSR, but it involved various small countries also, smaller states as well. It divided the world into two blocks. Eastern Bloc, Western Bloc, where you see the Eastern Bloc getting represented by Warsaw Pact and Western Bloc by NATO. The smaller states use this alliance with the superpowers in order to gain their own purpose fulfilled. And what was that? The promise of protection, weapons, economic aid, local rivals, regional neighbors with whom they had rivalries. Cold War also initiated the international alliances, which were very important for the requirements of the superpowers. And what were these? These were in East and Southeast Asia and in West Asia. US built an alliance that was SEATO, Southeast Asian Treaty Organization. CENTO was there. And then you see the Soviet Union responding by having close relations with regional countries like North Vietnam, North Korea, Iraq, which finally divided the world into alliances. This brings me to the places where these Cold War actually took place. And that involves Korea, Berlin, Congo, and several other places which has been dealt in detail with you. Which were those places? What were the effects? I've told you about Vietnam War as well, Congo crisis. Right? So all these were the arenas of the Cold War which took place, which were involved indirectly and directly as well within the Cold War. And then you see the leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru playing a key role in mediating between the two Koreas. In Congo crisis, UN Secretary General played a key role, which made the superpowers realize that war by all means should be avoided. The two sides understood that war might occur in spite of restraint as well. Either side might miscalculate the number of weapons. They may misunderstand the intentions of the other side. And by and large, what happens if there is a nuclear accident? So somehow all these realization with time that they might misunderstand the other side. They knew that such incidents might happen, which might escalate a hot war. So, with time, they realized that it is very important to collaborate, and they decided to collaborate on limiting and eliminating some kinds of nuclear and non nuclear weapons, which led them to sign arms control. And they started signing 3 important agreements within a decade. And these were your LTBT, Limited Test Ban Treaty, Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty. All these have been dealt in detail. When was it signed? It's very important. When was it signed? What was it? Right? Now, all these were your Cuban Missile Crisis and the Cold War. Now in the next class, I will deal with the challenge to bipolarity, that is non-aligned movement, that is your NAM. Okay. Now by far in the revision classes, if you have all these revision classes that will be coming up, if you will face any problem regarding any term, any incident, word, even all these treaties that were signed, any problem anywhere, just ask me, just let me know. Okay. All right, thank you students, and all the very best.